So on January 27th, we got the death of this actor named John Hurt. And what's interesting about it, and I'm sure there's a whole lot more to look into this guy, but he portrayed the character of Winston from the film 1984. And recently we've got the news that the book 1984 is in high demand on Amazon.com and whatnot. And the interesting thing about that is 1984 is 33 years ago. 33, a very important number to the Freemasons, is the highest degree of Scottish Rite Freemasonry, the master teacher number. Anyway, in the CNN article about the 1984 book, it says that 1984 came out 68 years ago, although it didn't come out 68 years ago. It was still 67. It will be 68 years ago on 6/8 this year. So it'll be 68 years old on 6/8 this year, because it came out in 1949. And then on January 27th, we got the death of this guy who played Winston, the main character in the book 1984. I mean, look at the gematria here. Winston equals 33, 42 with the S exception, also the big way, 114. This guy's name who portrayed Winston, John Hurt, equals 42 and 114. And if you've never read the book 1984, I think you should go read it. It's definitely a lot like the world that we're currently living in. The government can read people's thoughts and arrest people for thinking poorly of the government. They pretty much dumbed down society over the generations, and everybody's pretty much a slave, and most people don't even realize what is truly going on. They just grew up that way, and they believe that is how it's just supposed to be and whatnot. Nobody thinks for themselves really, except for guys like Winston and whatnot in this book. And it's a whole lot more to the book, but basically it is a whole lot like the world that we're currently living in. The interesting thing too about it then, so they're wanting us to know about 1984. 1984 was 33 years ago. And, the book came out 68 years ago. It'll be 68 years ago on 6/8. And 68 is a very special number in regards to 9/11 symbolism and a whole lot more. 1968 was 33 years before 9/11 happened. And George Bush, the president, he was born 68 days before 9/11. 1968 was the year 911 was made the emergency dialing code. It was also the year that George Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. It was also the year that World Trade Center construction began. It began on August 6th of 1968. Most parts of the world, they write August 6th, 6/8. So it would have been 6/8 of 68. Think about that in regards to the book 1984 being 68 years old on 6/8 this year. And then it's also 33 years after 1984. Also in gematria. And if you don't know what gematria is, I'll leave a link in the description of this video, How to Gematria. It's going to be a 15-minute video. It explains a whole lot more of what I'm talking about. But basically it is the practice of coding numbers into words. If you do it, Barack Obama equals 68. Prince Charles equals 68. If you've been following a lot of what I'm saying, the royal family is super synced up to many events that have been going on. Prince Charles even turned 68 this year on November 14th. The day of the extra supermoon, the first one since 1948. Whole bunch more to that, but Donald John Trump in gematria equals 68. Pope Francis equals 68 in gematria. I mean, what are the odds that, 4 pretty prominent men in the world all equal the same thing in gematria? In regards to this book, whatever, being on high demand on Amazon in gematria equals 25 and 70. George Orwell equals 70. And Trump equals 25, the small way, just like Amazon. So it links up to Trump. It also links up to George Orwell. Another thing that's I've talked about for a while is if you write out 68, it equals 56 the small way, 146 the big way. Both of these numbers are super special to the things I keep mentioning, especially with these four guys. Because 14/6 was Donald Trump's 70th birthday. That was also the day Pope Francis, it was Pope Francis's 1,189th day as being the Pope. There's 1,189 chapters in the King James Bible. I even talked about how if you write out Donald J. Trump in Jewish gematria, it equals 1,189. I even mentioned Pope Francis's visit to the United States and talked about the national anthem, Francis Got Key. And it sounds a lot like Francis got the key of David. In the Bible, Revelation 3:7, it mentions the key of David in regards to the Church of Philadelphia, but key of David equals 1,189. In regards to the royal family and whatnot, and 14/6, if you write out United Kingdom, it equals 146. Also, if you write out Prince of Wales equals 146. So a very special number in regards to a whole lot of interrelated stuff that's going on. Let me find my post again here. In regards to 56 then, 56 is some super special number in regards to all kinds of these terrorist whatever, you know. Osama bin Laden equals 56, Saddam Hussein equals 56, Adolf Hitler equals 56, ISIS equals 56. Even on 9/11, Flight 175 hit the South Tower with 56 passengers, and the tower collapsed 56 minutes later. Also, in regards to Philadelphia, yet again, Philadelphia is where the Declaration of Independence was signed with 56 signers. The first one to sign it was John Hancock, who died aged 56. And the 56th person out of them to die, the very last person to die that signed the Declaration of Independence, he died 56 years later. His name was Charles Carroll III. And he even died, the same day that Prince Charles was born, November 14th. His name's Charles Carroll III. If Prince Charles becomes the king, he'll be King Charles III. Philadelphia is also where the Fresh Prince comes from. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and whatnot. So anyway, in regards to 1984 and the number 84, it's super significant to a whole bunch of things as well, including the United States of America. If you read out United States of America, it equals 84 in gematria. I also just talked about this TV show that's going to be the spinoff of the TV show 24 that is going to be coming out the day of Super Bowl 51. And in the original series, 24, the ex-black president gets assassinated in Season 5, Episode 1. And then we're going to be in Super Bowl 51. But in regards to 84 with Obama, Obama equals 84 in Jewish gematria. He was born on August 4th, 8/4, and he'll also be 56 years old this year on 8/4. You know, the 33rd anniversary and whatnot. Jesuit in gematria equals 84. Pope Francis is supposedly the first Jesuit pope, and he was also born on the date numerology of 84. Donald Trump became a celebrity in 1984. He also went to a Jesuit college, Fordham University. If you go from Trump's birthday and Pope Francis's 1,189th day as being the Pope to 6/8, the 68th anniversary of the book 1984, it's a span of 1,091 days. And in numerology, they don't use zeros, so it's a lot like 191. Society of Jesus equals 191, and that's what the Jesuits are. They're the Society of Jesus. King James Bible also equals 56 in gematria. Royal family equals 56 in gematria. The word president equals 56 in gematria as well. United States of America equals 84. Revolutionary War equals 84. The king we are supposedly fighting against, George III, equals 84. Lots of 84 significant throughout American history. Louisiana Purchase equals 84. bought by Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson equals 84. Anyway, what really sticks out to me, and I always talk about all these, how these things sync up to the things that I've been talking about and to my own life and whatnot. And in regards to that TV show 24, it stars Kiefer Sutherland, who I had just mentioned just days ago in regards to the TV show Touch. That's a lot like, seriously, what I have been experiencing. And in this article about John Hurt dying, whatever, they show only tweets of Kiefer Sutherland and Elijah Wood. And I've also been talking a lot about the movie Flipper. So what are the odds they showed just these two guys tweets or whatever about the death of John Hurt, Kiefer Sutherland? Elijah Wood was the main character. He was Sandy in the 1996 Flipper movie or whatnot. And I was talking about flipping the script, the Dolphins, all of this stuff interrelated, you know. I talked about the Key of David. The next day we got the death of the Atlanta Falcons player Keon Carpenter. Jesus is the carpenter. Jesus is supposed to have the Key of David, right? Keon Carpenter dies. Keon Carpenter was born in the year 77. He died on a date numerology of 77. Christ in gematria equals 77. Then we got John Hurt, who dies age 77. And in regards to Touch that Kiefer Sutherland's in, it's all about the God number 318. 318 is the 77th day of the year. So, you know, who knows? Just interesting, the choice of tweets. And CNN does this all the time. Why would they just show just these two guys? It doesn't make that much sense, you know? I also found it interesting on Wikipedia. It says that Hurt publicly announced his cancer on June 16th of 2015, which June 16th is 16/6. And then it says it went into remission on 10/12. Both numbers that I have been talking about like crazy with the death of my uncle who died by the numbers as well. There's a whole lot of stuff that goes into it. I'm not going to re-explain it, but it all synced up to the Miami Dolphins and whatever, because my uncle gave me a Merino jersey. That's how I thought about Flipper in regards to Elijah Wood. And whatever. I'm not going to re-explain it. Maybe I'll leave some links in the description. But super connected. His name equals 166. He married Betty and Barney, like the Flintstones. The Flintstones have 166 episodes. So whatever. Like I said, moving on here. January 27th also has a date numerology of 65, which makes me think of the royal family. Prince equals 65. On 2/6 this year, it'll be Queen Elizabeth's 65th anniversary of being the queen, which is also in London. It will be the same day the Super Bowl is held. So if you read about 84 in gematria, 84 and 31 are the only two numbers that I know that equal 134 in gematria. King Charles III equals 134 as well. It even says that Hurt was knighted on 7/17, which is a super interesting number in regards to Prince Charles and whatnot. Prince Charles also connected to the number 318. He was born on the 318th day of the year. His ex-wife who died, Princess Diana, she died on 31/8. But anyway, in regards to Hurt being knighted on 7/17, the House of Windsor was established on 7/17 of the year 1917, right? 7/17 of 17. Pope Francis became the Pope on 3/13 of 13. And if you watch my Miami Dolphin stuff, I talked about how there was a relationship between 13 and 17. Dan Marino wore number 13, Ryan Tannehill wore number 17. Got hurt on the 13th game of the season this year. They replaced him with Matt Moore, M, the 13th letter, 13 and 13. But anyway, if Queen Elizabeth dies, then supposedly it won't be the House of Windsor anymore. It'll be the House of Mountbatten Windsor. So just interesting. 7/17, he was knighted on 7/17. Prince Charles's current wife, Camilla, was born on 7/17. And Princess Diana, her birthday is 7 months, 17 days after Prince Charles's birthday. So I guess that's all I wanted to talk about. I wanted to make a quick one. I'm just thinking this year we're going to get a 9/11 type event.